Hey, this is Mr. Coker with Foundations of Algebra Lesson 4.2, the Distributive Property. So, I've got two examples that I'm going to use to show the distributive property. The first one is 2 times parentheses x plus 3. And we can also call that 2 times the quantity of x plus 3, or 2 times the sum of x plus 3. I like to use the phrase the quantity of, just to stay consistent. So anytime that you see either a number or a variable, any term, and then there's no sign, and then there's a parenthesis, that is always multiplication. If it was adding, subtracting, dividing, any of those, there would have to be a sign. If there's no sign, we know that it's multiplication. So, the reason it's called the distributive property, whatever term is outside the parentheses, we distribute to each and every term inside the parentheses. So we have 2 times the quantity of x plus 3, so we're going to do 2 times x plus 2 times 3. Well, this is a very simple one. 2 times x. Well, if we have 2 x's, we can just call that 2x. 2 times x is 2x. And then 2 times 3, of course, is 6. And then we're done. On the bottom, I have one that's a little bit more complicated, but it's still easy. All problems involving the distributive property, once you get used to it, are pretty easy. So here we have 3 plus x times the quantity of 2x minus 5. Now remember what we said before, whatever term is outside the parentheses is multiplied by each term in parentheses. Whatever term is outside. Here we have 2 terms outside the parentheses. Do we multiply both of them? No. We only multiply by the term, the one term, directly outside parentheses. If this had parentheses over it, or around it, then that would be a different story. But it does not. So we do x times 2x and x times 5. This 3, nothing happens to it. It's not being multiplied, it's just sitting there. So I'm going to bring it down, and now I'm going to do plus x times 2x. Well, and this is a part where it gets tricky sometimes. If we have x times x, that is x squared. Here it's x times 2x. So, and I do want to point out, if you have no variable in front of an x, we can assume it's a 1. I should have said that up here for anyone who doesn't remember that. So 1 times 2 is 2. X times x is x to the second power, or x squared. That is extremely important to remember, especially when we're multiplying polynomials or when we're doing problems involving quadratics. Extremely important. So 3 plus 2x squared, or x to the second power. And now we have 1x, or just x, times negative 5, or minus 5. Well, we have negative 5x's, and our 1 times 5 is 5, and then we have an x with it to make 5x, or minus 5x. And now we're done. Now later on, this is actually a quadratic expression. Later on we will want to put that in the proper order, where we put the the variable with the largest exponent first. For this lesson, I just want to make sure that you understand how to distribute. So 3 comes down, and then our distributive property in action, 2x squared minus 5x. So distributive property, once you get used to it, it's pretty simple, or really simple, but it's extremely important. Thanks for watching, and hope you have a nice day.